If you want this caliber of people to start doing business with you, if you're an entrepreneur, then you need to show them by visually demonstrating with a professional videographer that this is the quality that you can offer them. You can do your own video of the coffee beans falling and the creative shots, but if you get a professional videographer, it just elevates your video, and the people, when they watch it, like, whoa, where is this? When is it open? Because of the experience that they have visually. Always start with a brand story. Why are you doing this? People buy into not necessarily the product, but into the person. And have just a short story. It's called a brand story of who you are, why you're doing this. And people just really, they're longing for authentic people that they can join on their journey. Be willing to be in front of camera and share how you got started and why you are starting this specific company.
What's happening, everybody? Jay Moore, the Healthy Accountant, here with Shona Bell, CPA, the Freedom CPA. What's going on, Shona?
What's up? It's another great day to have another podcast.
It's an awesome and incredible day, guys. If this is your first time, this is the Beyond Freedom podcast, and we're super excited today because we're here and we can share, more of not just what we're doing, but what other entrepreneurs are doing in the marketplace, especially a lot of kingdom entrepreneurs. And so today we have I'm talking with a fantabulous guest that's going to be coming on, and we're just super excited to have him. Shona, what can you say about this guest that we're bringing on?
All right. Well, he shared an amazing bio, so I'm going to read it quickly. Then you're going to bring him on, and then off to the races. We're going to have a great conversation. So I'm going to read it quickly. Jens came at the end of Jens came at the end of 2018 as a missionary from Nambia, Africa, to the U.S. because he believes God has sent him to the U.S. So he came to the U.S. in 2018. He met his wife after a long distance dating, then got married and moved to Kentucky. They led the start of the alignment media because the word that he received from God, which was he was called him to for the alignment of the assignment. I talk about that all the time. This is going to be so much fun. Jens knew that this was not for only his assignment, but to help others align with their assignment as well. He believes that the marketplace is his mission field and therefore serves every client with excellence and honor. Jens is passionate to see businesses, entrepreneurs, and CEOs align with their vision using video. He creates and produces video for multiple 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs, which actively run challenges, virtual and hybrid events, specializes in sizzle reels, challenge recap videos, social media content creation, and content repurposing. He helps kingdom entrepreneurs use video to position themselves as an authority in their space. And we have the honor of having worked with him because he did some videos and sizzles for us when we were doing our coaching CPAs and accountants and bookkeepers. So he does amazing work. He has an amazing background. So let's bring him in and get the conversation started.
We've got Jens Delport coming in of Alignment Media.
Yeah.
What's happening, Jens?
Good. Good morning, everyone. It's good to be with you guys today.
Yeah, we're so
Awesome.
excited.
Awesome. So Shona gave an introduction, and we're definitely going to let you kind of like let people know kind of like, what your background is about. I'm going to share one quick story before Jens starts. I met Jens, a few years ago. He's been doing video for 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs doing challenges. And I had the opportunity to work with Jens on just creating, doing a video. And I learned some of the basics of creating a quick intro video for a challenge. Like he taught it so simple, and just about anybody that that was doing a challenge or trying to come on video was able to easily produce it. So I can definitely tell you, man, that Jens does some amazing work, and he's helped a lot of entrepreneurs to get their messages out. And so one of the questions that everyone's going to want to know about Jens is, Jen, like, how did you get your start? What's your background and kind of how do you help people?
Yeah, thanks, Jay. Oh, Japheth. It's really an honor to be with you guys. And my story actually, I am from Africa. So I'm from Namibia, which is the country right above South Africa. I came end of 2018 as a full-time missionary, and I did missions work in California. I felt that God sent me there. And while I was doing missions work, I came upon this kingdom entrepreneurship group called 100X. And I was just so intrigued because there was something about business that I always had a desire to do. And at that stage, I was a full-time missionary. And before that, I was a full-time pastor for 10 years in Africa. But while I was being a pastor, I helped the local church with video production, with video editing, whatever needs they had. I just jumped in and I just helped out because that's what they needed. So then afterwards, I met actually my now wife in this group, which is just another story on its own, but it's such an amazing, amazing blessing that I got to meet her. And then after dating a whole year, I was in California, she's in Kentucky. That's where I live now. And we dated. I came to Kentucky after 1 year, proposed at the airport. We got married the next day. I just knew this is my wife. This is what God has called me to move into. And when we got married, I knew like I cannot be the traditional full-time missionary, being supported by the church because I had a family now. I became an instant dad. She was a single mom. And I knew like, God, what do I do now? That was the biggest question. And what Holy Spirit said to me was, Jens, what are you good at? I think that's the biggest thing we need to, what God will use. What are you good at? He won't use something you're not good at, but he asked, what are you good at? I'm like, I'm good with video. I'm good with editing. He's like, start a video production company. So at that stage, I started Alignment Media LLC. And yeah, it was like I just, I at that stage I knew that this is it. I don't have a plan B. This I need to put everything into this. I had to focus. And that's when because I trusted God as my source, things started just growing every month. It started very slow, but I just said, this is it. We cannot, if I cannot fail if I just continue. And I just continued. And yeah, God has been faithful ever since I just stepped out in faith. There was no plan B.
That's awesome.
Wow. Wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
Shana, you buzzing with a question yet?
Yeah, so I read a little bit, or I read your whole bio. Thank you for sending it over.
Yeah.
And something that stuck out to me was that you believed you were called. Um, it says, receive the word from the Lord, which was that he called him for a alignment of an assignment.
Yes.
That just, took me somewhere because I used to say that when we were coaching CPAs and coaches, like the challenge that you helped us with. And I would, kind of reference that in a way that said, you were created for a purpose, and what you're doing is supposed to be multiplied, and you're supposed to bless a lot of people. But if you're not aligned with that, then you're gonna kind of really not reach your full potential. So please tell me your take on where that came from, what your spin is on it, because it's something that just came to me. But I guess the Holy
Yeah.
Spirit. So I would love your perspective of it.
Well, thank you. It is really truly so when I was in California doing the missions work, I was in a prayer meeting one evening, and the phrase alignment for the assignment just, came into my spirit. And I didn't know what it meant, but it took me on this journey of just discovering that God wants to align me for my assignment. And then when I started, alignment media, I knew that God wants to use alignment media to align men and women, like yourselves, business owners, entrepreneurs, CEOs, with their vision and their assignment using video. And so I realized that when I meet people, my biggest thing is not the creation of the video. That's the easiest part. The most difficult part is to hone in on their vision, so that I can align with that, and so that we can really bring their vision to life. And I think that's the biggest thing with this prophetic word, because I knew that, first of all, we have to align with God's vision, God's heart. And when I do that personally, every day, we can get into that, with my time with him. I have to align with him, because then what his heart is will flow into what I do. So alignment is such, like you've used it. It's such an amazing concept, but it's deeper than just theory. It needs to become practical, where every day we have to align our heart with his heart. We have to align our vision with his vision. We have to help other people align. And I think that's what I love to do. I love to say, hey, what is your vision? I want to help you. I want to align with your vision to bring it into fruition. So that's my take on it.
Wow.
Yeah. That's really good. I was sitting here just kind of thinking about what you're saying, like this alignment for the assignment. And then, so there's going to be, a couple of different types of people who watch our podcast. There are going to be those that are the kingdom entrepreneurs, those that are people of faith, and they're going to watch it, and it's going to hit home. Then there's going to be the people that's kind of maybe not necessarily there yet. And they're like, well, yeah, how does one start hearing that? Right? Because, I mean, yeah, Jens was a pastor, Jens was in ministry. So Jens was kind of like in an environment that was probably helping him to get there. But if somebody's not quite there, how does one help themselves to start aligning with this assignment that, even if they, may not necessarily have that ear for it yet? Like, how could somebody potentially do that?
Man, that's such a good question. I think because many people, even those that are in the faith, or those that are, have been walking with Jesus, they still question, am I doing the right thing? I think that's the biggest thing that I face with friends and clients, are we doing the right thing? And I think the first thing that helped me is to understand that God will not want me to do something that I don't enjoy necessarily. So, you know, because he wants to partner with us. I think that alignment has to do with partnership as well. Um, it's not this thing of, some people are called to India and then they will have peace. That's the biggest thing that helped me, is to follow peace, because he's the Prince of Peace. So when I make a decision, even like, just to give you a very, very practical concept, I was on a call with a potential client. And this client, it was for a coaching business. He wanted to coach me in business. Now, he's a really good coach. But I got off this call and I told my wife, I'm uncertain if I have to do this. Not just because of the investment, but because of the relationship. And my wife's like, she stopped me there. She's like, Jens, when you get off a call and you're excited, you come running to me and you're like, God wants me to do this. There's no doubt. So why do I start doubting God now? And that really, like, I realized, wait, I'm uncertain, there's no peace. Then the answer is very clear. It's a no.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, it doesn't mean it might change, as I journey with this individual, but at that stage, we need to start getting to the place where we are not undecisive. We make a decision, yes or no. It's like, when I have peace in this situation, business deal, especially when it comes to business, we only think God speaks to us when it comes to other things, not in business. I think that is a a wrong view of God. It's like the same way he talks to me when I pray for somebody for healing, because I love to do that. It's the same way, like, he gives me an unction, like, I need to reach out, I need to just do something practical, like send an email or make a phone call, or just, you know, do something practical. But it is because I'm led from peace. And if I'm not, then I think that's how God speaks to us. He uses those places where we either experience this turmoil, like, I'm not certain. But then there are times that we're like, no, I might not know the answer, or I might not know everything what I have to do practically, but I have peace. I think that helped me a lot to align with the assignment.
Wow,
Wow,
that's
that's good. That's good. That's good. Sean, do you have a question or I could go
Yeah,
ahead?
and I was just going to add, and God doesn't want, He meant for us to have an abundance of life and not constant lack and turmoil. And so when people find themselves in a situation where not only they don't have peace, they don't have abundance, they don't have, their cup is not overflowing. It's like that's another gauge on, hold on, are you in the correct alignment? So we have this concept, this phrase that we kind of coined, beyond freedom, right? So can you tell us how what you do, or if you even look at it like this, because we look at it, what we do is if we can show you how to pay less in taxes, how to make sure your financials are in a way like a multiplier effect, like you
Yeah,
put money back in your business, you can go further, which means you can result in being happier and abundance and then having more freedom. So in what you do with video and media and things like that, do you have a thought or a saying or any type of a mindset around how what you do has a multiplier effect? Like business owners, we definitely, this is like I'm answering and asking and answering at the same time. We understand how what you do kind of gives us this multiplier effect, but I think the listeners can benefit from your perspective on how what you do just kind of could help business owners bring more freedom and abundance to their business.
thank you. Yeah, definitely. So because if in this day and age, video is such a powerful tool. People are watching and listening to this podcast right now, that this is a video. So that's a first way that I believe that video and what I do with the video production side really helps people beyond freedom. Since video, I just there's so many testimonies where a video has spoken to somebody beyond, to take them from a place of depression into hope, on a spiritual, emotional side. But then also a video has taught people, I've learned so many principles regarding videography via video. People are watching, learning about CPAs and the power of it in their business via video. So the video, if you do not have someone, and that's why I want to partner with people, because, and especially business owners, CEOs, because they do not have the time to work on video. That's where I come alongside, help them, because not that they're not capable, they are more than capable of doing their own videos. It's just they want to build their business. So I come and help them with the video production, with social media reels or YouTube videos or course videos or challenge scissor reels, whatever, and that frees them up so that they can operate beyond freedom. What the concept, and that's how I see the power of video, and having a team, especially video production team, with the as an if you're an entrepreneur in whatever industry you're in. I watched, there's so many short videos on the power of video. This one video where this one guy, very big influencer, where he's like, listen, if you start a coffee company, just make a short video of how you make the coffee, and then you can just title it correctly, and then you can start getting like these views, and people are like interested, what is this coffee, like the secrets to perfect coffee. Like that was just a hook. So I teach people these things, and what that does, it helps people move from ordinary to extraordinary, and help them, on all levels, freeing up their time, and then of course it can multiply their income, because this video becomes a digital asset and resource that can grow. So yeah, there's definitely those elements that I see that the power of a video production company has when you partner with them.
Gotcha. Man, this was I think that, Shauna, that was a really good question. And I love how you answered it, Jens, because then it got me to thinking about some practical things when it comes to video, kind of like video the right way and video the wrong way, right? So as a video production company, someone who helps people get their media out, like there's a lot of small entrepreneurs. They're afraid to get on video. They know that video is good, right? They know it's good because they watch them,
Yeah,
right? So,
exactly.
but for some reason they start a business like, oh, I can't get on video. So if someone was going to start a business, and you mentioned a small coffee shop, but if they were going to start a business, like what would be the video, like I guess a video, we'll call it a framework or process that they should use to, okay, you just started a business, like what kind of content should they create about their business so that people could start seeing them and being interested in what they're doing?
Yeah, so I think there's two things to look into, especially when you just get started, because many people, yeah, with phones, it's easy to record. However, they neglect the power of a professional video. Just to get a videographer to come and do a professional video of your business, it elevates people's perspective of you from being average to being professional. Like, to being this high-end company or entrepreneur. Just to give you a basic idea, like my wife and I and our family, we got this, studio portrait pictures taken of us. And, they are really elegant and on another level. Now, it's an investment, but when people see that, they already in their framework think, whoa, they're operating on this level, because that's the power of videography. So first of all, you need to understand that, if you want this caliber of people to start doing business with you, if you're an entrepreneur, then you need to show them that there's, by visually demonstrating with a professional videographer that this is the quality that you can offer them. That just literally, but you can do your own video of the coffee beans falling and the creative shots. But if you get a professional videographer, it just elevates your video, and the people, when they watch it, like, whoa, where is this? When is it open? Because of the experience that they have visually. But then content-wise, I would say, first of all, always start with a brand story. Why are you doing this? People buy into not necessarily the product, but into the person. Why did you start this business? And have just a short story. It's called a brand story of who you are, why you're doing this. And people just really, they're longing for authentic people that they can join on their journey. That's the beauty of having a video of just yourself. So that's the first thing. Just be willing to be in front of camera and share how you got started, and why you are starting this specific company. I think that's the first big content idea that I can give you guys.
That was a real man. That's a really good answer. I was getting kind of excited. So I was just like, man, like when you want to attract a certain kind of customer, right? Then the goal is to elevate, right? The goal is to take your content, it's not that you're trying to show something that's not real, but you're just saying, hey, this is what you can expect.
Yes.
And like that's something that I didn't think about. Oh, we should have professional media, professional videos because it elevates your status. Because one of the things that I've discovered from working with other high-end entrepreneurs is that you want to be associated with people who have an elevated status.
Yes.
So now that we have that part, like now we know how to, okay, do professional video to elevate a status. We should have a brand story. Then it's okay, I have a brand story now, but what do I do next? Like, what other kinds of videos am I now really focused on in my business to create the not just a story now, but to create more intrigue that of people now just saying, hey, I've got to get with these people. Like what do you think that process looks like?
Yeah, I think then you can definitely have a couple of, and for every industry, it looks different. However, the concept stays the same. So that boils down to a promotional video. So you have this brand story, and then you create these promotional videos, and those can be anything from a minute to 2-minute videos, where you can really promote what services you have, what can people experience, and those videos you can ultimately use for advertising. You can do paid advertising, you can do organic advertising by sharing with your friends, your family. And then the other amazing thing is that you can start using social media, Reels, YouTube Shorts. Now, why would you want to use those platforms? Because those really give you, it's like, because every person that you can watch any type of reel, you don't need to be a friend with an individual to watch their reel. With certain posts and pictures, you need to be friends, or like them or follow them to watch those things. So reels, so you have these promotional assets, videos, 1 to 2 minute video clips, very specific, and that's where you specify what is it you do, to what can the customer get out of this, or the client, and how do they get hold of you. Those are the three questions you can answer. And then ultimately also you can add to your repertoire. What you do is social media, reels, and YouTube shorts, because people that have, and you know what I love about those YouTube shorts and social media reels is people get a taste and see, like, who are you. They get a glimpse of what you have to offer. And social media reels is really just picking up. People are more and more using that as a means to verify, are you legit, are you true to what you're saying. And that, I believe, is definitely the next step.
Gotcha, man. Man, that's great because I know a lot of entrepreneurs, the ones that do video, I've been doing video for a long time. I've never had any like video training. I've just stepped in front of the camera and said, I'll just do it until, right?
Yeah.
Because I knew that video, there's something to video. Folks need to know who you are and be authentic. So appreciate that part of it. Now, there are some other things that I think, folks want to know about Jens, right? So I know Jens a little bit. I know some stories about Jens. Everybody can hear your passion, like you're passionate. We've talked about your background with ministry and pastoring. But I want you to share an amazing story with people that, yeah, you were called to this country, right? But there's an amazing story around your family, that I've heard about, and I want people to know that when you are moving down a certain path, things beyond your wildest dreams can show up. Different situations and opportunities come that you weren't looking for, but they become almost like um, divine, right? So share a little bit about your background with with your relationship with your wife, because I think that gives a little more context to this alignment media thing,
Yeah.
so that folks can kind of say, wow, because I want people to say, because they're going to say, wow, when they hear it, because I kind of heard it. So,
So
yeah.
just to give you context, so my wife, before I met her, she joined this group called 100X, this Kingdom Entrepreneurship group, at the birthing phase when it was really just started. Now this movement has thousands and thousands of people, but this was when there were like 30 people part of this movement. And at that stage, she was a single mom, and she literally, you know, yeah, I have so much respect for parents that are single parents. Truly, if you're a single dad or single mom, uh, some days I'm like, I still like tell my wife, I can't believe you did it by yourself. It's like mind blowing at what they can do. Um, because she was at a place financially, she didn't have any income. She was a stay-at-home mom. She lived, she had so many things. She did work, but again, there's so many elements that do not, help the situation because it's just so difficult. And at that stage, she joined this group, but the founder of this group, his name is Pedro Deo. He has this principle of you need to sow a seed to be able to reap a harvest. So you cannot just join this group because it's a business group. You need to invest financially. And at that stage, she didn't have the finances. So he asked, "What do you have?" So she was divorced at that stage. So she had an old wedding ring. And she said, she's like, I can send this. This is the value of what you're requiring to invest and to be part of this group. So she sent it to him, and he used that ring and had it on his table when he did Zoom calls, because then that she gave up everything, all the value that she had to be part of this group. You know what is amazing? Then I started following this group. You know, I didn't even know of her. I followed this group. We became friends because of this group, and we started chatting and dating a long distance. And then a year later, we got married. But the amazing thing is, a year or two down the line, we realized, wait, she sowed a wedding ring and reaped a marriage.
Mm.
It's like, whoa. But she was faithful. I'm honest. If she did not do that, we would have not have met. You know, it's like this thing is she stepped out in obedience. She had nothing and she gave it all up so that because she knew God has called her to business. She is a businesswoman. She is the co-owner of Lime Media, and she has so much wisdom. She's passionate for the Lord. So she sewed this ring, not expecting a marriage, just to be obedient to what God has called her to do. And then God blessed her with a marriage. And then on my side, because I gave up everything as a missionary, I left everything in Africa, came with just my suitcase, um, and a few dollars, in my name. And I had people supporting me monthly, sponsors and donations. And it really carried me through, but I didn't have anything. And then God gives me a wife. The Bible says, if you give up everything for my name's sake, I will bless you 100-fold. And it's like he did that, and it's still not fulfilled. It's still in the process of getting fulfilled. Every facet of my life. It's like, wow, that's what obedience can do. It can unlock an abundance, like you said, Shauna, an abundance beyond freedom because we are obedient.
Wow. Wow, that
Wow.
is such a reminder. Yeah, we said wow twice, right? That is
Mhm.
such a reminder of why I'm a believer, and I just feel like this life there's no reason, me personally, why I would ever try to walk on this earth without my faith and connection and obedience and my relationship with the Father. So oh, it's always good to have that reminder and that revelation and people listening to this. Jay mentioned earlier about there's different types of people that will be listening to this. We did not start out to create a king. Well, it's happening, but it wasn't the intent to have like a kingdom podcast. But it's one of those things where people are going to listen to this because they want to, hear from Jay and Shauna from the financial perspective.
Yeah.
But a whole lot more is going to be coming. So thank you for sharing and sharing yourself with us because it's going to help a lot of people.
Just one other testimony. So I'm working on a production, a show, a TV show in Texas with clients right now. And so I'm a director of this show, and it's very similar to Duck Dynasty, if you've heard of Duck Dynasty, but it's from Texas. And this one episode we were working on, one of the people that were just part of the episode, he's the plumber in this. It's about a family that moved from the country club living to the country life living, and the journey of just being obedient to God. So that's what we're capturing. And they're on this ranch, and they had this one person that is helping them build stuff on the ranch be at this dinner. And after the whole episode that we recorded, this guy that I'm the client of mine comes to me and said, hey, one of the people here, he's got like an injury to his leg. He's got an infection on his leg because he's a plumber, and he's been, you go do stuff in waters that is not hygienic or clean. So he got an infection. So he's like, can you pray for him? Because he knows that, I believe in prayer. So I afterwards, no cameras rolling, we just prayed for this guy's leg, and he got supernaturally healed instantly. It's like the guy couldn't believe, like, what? Because he's like what Jay said, he's not really into this, but he just experienced the love of God. Because I was just, that's how I believe God uses video production, that he connects me with people, and I'm just being a light and give people hope in that situation.
Wow.
That's another amazing one. That's awesome.
That is awesome. It's interesting because, I was listening to something that Dr. Miles Monroe was saying. I was at the gym this morning, and he was talking about, no, it wasn't Miles, it was somebody else. And so the guy was talking about how, when it comes to darkness, no one's creating a facility or something so that they can shine darkness anywhere, right? We create light. Like light is the thing that we bring into the room, and light removes darkness wherever it is. And so as kingdom entrepreneurs and folks, who are in the marketplace, it's like, whether you're there for a specific thing, once you are there, you are the light. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that, you're doing this thing, and because you have a measure of faith, then you just use it. You just use the measure that you have. And so, that's amazing testimony, to what you're doing, Jens. One of the things that we got hooked up on when we was at one of the conferences is that we met up one time, we just so happened to see each other at the gym, right? You was working out, I was working out, so, a lot of, so one of the things we always like to know is like, how do you remain healthy, in your body and your mind and all the stuff that you're doing, because that becomes, that's probably your first health. So practically, like, what do you do? I mean, besides just working out, but what else do you do?
Yeah, so right now, my wife and I, we are very, very diligent in taking, supplements to build our immune system, because unfortunately, there's so many things out there that can attack your immune system. So we drink something called fulvic and humic acid. It really just strengthens the immune system and removes toxins that don't belong in your body that can cause any types of sickness. So that has, like, just another testament during the whole COVID era, time. We by God's grace did not receive COVID at all, but we were faithful to drink fulvic and humic acid every day. That stuff removes toxins from it. Like, wow. So that's a testimony to that stuff really works. And then, I love having a routine. So and every morning I do workouts as well. And right now I'm incorporating, doing some running in with my I do a I do functional training. So I do full body functional training every day, but now including running. Now it's not a strength of mine, but I know it's good for me. So this morning I did a short run. That what my goal was, to complete this short run, because I know, I think that's the biggest thing I want to encourage people. If you do an exercise or anything, do something. Don't have an expectation of running 10 miles when you've never run in your life. Like this one just ran a 1 mile, but I wanted to complete it. And afterwards, I'm like, yes, I did it. There was this confidence that was built inside of me. Like Jay's doing the 500 a day, 500 push-ups a day challenge. But like,
You join that?
well, I'm not. I'm doing but I'm
Still do
doing
it.
daily push-ups. I don't do 500. I do like 100 push-ups a day. But it's not that I cannot do 500. I think for me, it's like, do what, if put a challenge that you can reach, so you can build the confidence to build up to doing 500 a day like Jay does. I think that's the key, is like, if you start with 10 a day, that's good. Then build up to 20, then to 100, then 200, so that you can have that confidence. Because if you fail every day, like, oh, I didn't do 500, oh, I didn't do 500, later on you're so discouraged that you don't want to do any push-ups at all. So I would say, personally, like, do something. Of course you can always push yourself. That's important.
Mhm.
But do something that you can achieve, because when you do it, it builds this confidence, like, yes, I can do this. I can do this. And that's what I love to do when it comes to working out.
That's good.
That's
Well, I have
good.
another question for you.
Yes.
We like to talk about um, beyond freedom, right? So we're here for a short time, right? So a lot of entrepreneurs or kingdom people like to think about legacy. So do you have any legacy thoughts or dreams, or are you working up toward them, or how do you work up toward them, and what do you want to leave behind when
Wow.
you're no
That's
longer here?
That's a really good question, Shauna. I think That's definitely it's what I'm dreaming about. That I am thinking about. My wife and I are, constantly talking about what can we leave behind, because the Bible even says that you can leave an inheritance for your children's children.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, so inside each one of us needs to be enough to that we can leave an inheritance for our children's children. And I'm not there, I'm not even close, but it's inside of me, that word that God has spoken, that dream, like you said. So it's definitely something that we're constantly like praying and asking God, how can we leave a legacy? So I know alignment media is definitely one tool, but it's not like, you know, God can have more ways of more other businesses. And I'm constantly saying, Lord, what is the next thing that you want me to start so that we can leave that legacy for
Yeah.
children's children?
Well, I will say an encouragement, and you've blessed me today. Your story is a legacy, right? Like being missionary, being pastor, following your wife. My husband did something similar, moving and things like that. So we're building it every day in what we do and how we're living life. But then, like you said, we're all, it's like there's the part of living life with intentionality, but also thinking about the future and your children's children and children's children. So yeah, I feel like you already have a piece of it, right? It's just
Wow, thank you. It's so
yeah,
true. When you just mentioned, I realized that's so true, um, because I made this step of faith to come and start the business, and because I became a dad to my wife's first son, which is his name is Thomas. I'm his dad, but it was like, I that is the legacy I'm leaving behind, that I can be a father to him. And now we have two more beautiful children. One is 3 years old, the other, she is now 8 months old to almost 9 months. And I'm like, wow, you're right. I am already leaving that legacy. And that is truly encouragement. Thank you.
yeah, it's awesome.
That is awesome. Man, Jens, you've been saying a lot and it just kind of got me thinking here. Um, and then one of the things that, we look at is productivity and kind of like, dealing with challenges, not the challenges where we're marketing, but the challenges in our business. Like, we're thinking about the challenges that, that people are facing, especially now, right? With marketing, marketing is getting harder. It's getting harder to get into the marketplace. Especially like, I remember when I came in, it was easy to do paid ads. Like it didn't cost as much. You could easily target, especially on Facebook and Instagram,
Yeah.
you could target way better. And so now it's more challenging. And so you've mentioned, you definitely got to do reels, but I guess just from the perspective of the big challenges that people are facing, like what would be, a tip that you would give someone if they came to you and says, "Hey, Jens, I'm just having challenges really getting things off the ground and getting it going." Like, is there something that you can say to them and just kind of help them to kind of like not worry, if you will, about what the outcomes are going to be?
Yes, that is so true. I think, I love to use myself as an example, because I learn the most by just doing things. And what I've experienced is that there are times that I don't feel motivated. We are human beings. We have a soul, we have a spirit, we have emotions. And there are days that, as an entrepreneur, that you just don't have the encouragement to do what you have to do. So those are the days that I normally just have, like, when it comes to encouragement, I have my main things that I have to like do, but also things that I have goals. I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, okay, this week I have to do X, Y, and Z. Those things then just help me to not lose focus, because we can get so distracted. And it's something I've been actually the Lord has been dealing with, and it comes to video as well, is what is grabbing your attention. It comes to every business owner, what is grabbing your attention daily. Now, it doesn't mean it's bad things. It's just like, should your attention go to that when you have to do this? And I think that's constantly what I'm challenged with. And I think all of us is that right now we need to learn to be single-minded. Doesn't mean multitasking is wrong. It's just if you want to get something done, don't let those things steal your attention. And I'm working from home, so there are days that I have to focus my attention on what's happening with the family because it's important. But then I have to get my attention again back to the work. I think that because if we are always distracted, we can get worried because then we see nothing happening because we're so distracted. But when we get something done, it can be a small thing, it can be a big thing. It gives you this confidence like, yes, I'm getting somewhere. I'm getting somewhere. The last thing I want to say is when I was doing a run the one day, Holy Spirit told me, Jens, because it's like, Jens, you cannot fail in business. The only time you'll fail is if you don't move anything, if you don't do anything. Like he said, Jens, even if you walk this mile or the distance I ran, if you crawl, you'll get to the end result. That's inevitable. It's the same in business. God has this abundance, this prosperity, this success already planned for us. The only time we'll fail is if we stop and do nothing. If there are days we just have to crawl, but just keep moving. That's the key. Even if you crawl in business, like do small things. You might not be running or sprinting like these massive good sprinters. Like you might just do small things, but you will end up at the same result. Just don't stop.
That
Wow,
is,
that is really good. I got to piggyback on what he said a little bit because there's a lot of days when I found myself unmotivated to do anything. And that's probably why I said, especially with the health, I think health is easy for me to work on because it's just me. I don't have to worry about somebody else. I don't got to call anybody. I can just go for a run. I ran every day for years. I would just go out and run. I didn't like it, but it just kind of kept me going to actually say, well, something's happening because I'm moving. The 500 push-ups, something's happening because I'm doing it. And I think that, the power of literally just going and doing something is the power. Like literally, that is the power. There's no secret sauce to success. It's just get up and do something. So, so I love how you broke that down there. Just, you can crawl, you still gonna get there. You can walk, you still gonna get there. Some people can run. We're all gonna get there just at different times.
Yeah.
So yeah, so thanks for that answer there.
I want to add something too, just to encourage people, because definitely in this digital age, social media, videos, there's this comparison thing. So what you guys are saying is so good. And Jay, and I'm assuming you, Jens, is better at this than I am at being disciplined to do something no matter what. But what took me a little while, which I don't do much anymore, is this comparison because you look at all the beautiful things that are out there, and then it takes some of us some time to realize as long as you're aligned with your assignment, don't like ignore that. Just ignore because you don't know what's happening under the surface of that. That's one. And two, that's their lane, you know, that's their journey. That's their thing. So sometimes people can get a little discouraged and not only just struggle with motivation, but struggle with this comparison to what other things that they see, other people that was able to hire that high-end videographer and things like that. So there's something to be said about just just trying to focus on you and what you can do and what you're purposed to do. So that's what I thought about after you said that.
Yes, that is such a good point. It's such a big thing that we all have to confront is the comparison thing. Because, and we do it on the spiritual level as well. Oh, I'm not as spiritual as so and so. Or I don't pray enough as so and so. It's like, no, it hasn't, we have to stop comparing and say, God, because ultimately one day when we stand before God, He will not ask, did you do as much as Jay or Shauna did. No. He'll say, were you obedient and with the assignment? Did you align with the assignment I gave you? That's it. That's what he will ask us, nothing else. And that's such a good point that you just made there.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's good. So this is kind of leading us to one of these words that a lot of people try and overlook, and it's mindset. It's this thing called mindset. So if we're thinking about a mindset, and I remember folks would be like, man, you just gotta have a positive mindset. And I totally agree, you gotta have a positive mindset. It's just that for most people, they don't realize they can't reconcile like what negative really is, right? Because so many things are negative, right? We just talked about how folks are comparing and folks are looking at all the other people, and they're wondering why it's not them. But if you had any words of wisdom around really just focusing in on how someone can develop this, yeah, it's a positive mindset. But I think it's even more serious and elevated because of how mindset is, I guess, I don't know, hated on, for lack of a better term, in the marketplace. Oh, you just don't need a positive mindset. But just kind of walk people through just something tactical, something simple, which you've been doing that. Let's take them a little bit closer to how to develop, the psychology of a successful business owner. Like what could that look like for someone?
Yeah. I think, first of all, not to downplay it, like you just said. I think that's a key, is that we have to get to know ourselves the best. That's the most important. If you don't understand the way you're thinking, my wife has helped me so much. Like, Jens, that's not you. I would say things and I wouldn't be, until she told me the words I said, I didn't realize that I had stinking thinking in a certain sense. Because what I was saying, what you say basically is what you think. That's what it comes down to. And I said something about the business or a marriage, whatever it is, and it's like, whoa. She's like, that's not you. Where's this coming from? And what she addressed was a victim mindset. It was this, oh, poor, pitiful me mindset. It was this lack mindset. And she helped me not to, she did not judge me. She brought it to light so we can deal with it together. I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, when you, and that's where a coach or a mentor, or myself, I in the business and the video industry, I help people also on the mindset side to overcome fears. What will people think when they look at them in the camera? That's such an important thing, because ultimately that those things will limit us to truly operate on the level that God has called us, the elevated life, the beyond freedom life. And so that's what helped me, is when I allowed somebody, and sometimes it can be your wife, it can be a friend, it can be even the Bible, and it will highlight, it will shine a light into a specific thinking. And the question just then we have to ask ourselves, are we willing to deal with it?
That's good.
That is good. Because when I think about what you said, you had stinking thinking, it's interesting because and then you also said just now, you have to be willing to allow somebody in, right? Because a lot of times, we could have stinking thinking, and then, your wife, your husband, your friend, a coach could then point it out. And sometimes, I get it. Sometimes they may not say it all rosary and beautiful, you know, but a lot of, but then I'm saying, but because, hey, if you got stinking thinking, like, man, because one of the things that I've had to notice in myself is that I had to watch the words coming out, right? And these words coming out, it's like, oh, once it comes out, that means how many times did you think about it before it came out? So it's the thinking that starts the speaking, and man, that's what he said, stinking thinking. And it's so easy, right? It's so easy for people to have it just because everybody else is doing it. But at the end of the day, I think that what you're saying could potentially help somebody, develop a mindset. Get to know yourself is what Jens was really saying. Get to know yourself, understand yourself, and then allow other people like mentors and coaches and your wife or spouses or friends to help you along the way. I think we got a few more questions. Shona, did you have one?
Just the last, well, I'm interested. I don't know, a lot of us entrepreneurs are readers or listeners. Do you have a favorite book of all time that's helped you in your,
Uh-oh, here it comes. Here it comes. You see
is
it.
it whatever? Is it
Here
whatever?
it
This is the
comes.
most recent book that I read. It was
Okay.
I've Never Learned to Doubt. Now I know
Nice.
it's mirrored, but it's
No, I can see it. It's good.
okay. So basically, that book has challenged my mindset. It's about this pastor that started a had to God told him to build a church that was beyond his budget. Beyond, it's like a $20 million auditorium. And he's like, they as a church congregation, they don't even have the money. But he's like,
Yeah.
you're gonna build it debt free. And he's like, how? It's like, you don't worry about the how. You just build it. And as he was building it, people would tell him, "Hey, you can't do this." He's like, "Yeah, you're right. I can't, but God is going to do it." And it's just such a challenging thing because we are so quick to doubt when we hear something, and that has been challenging me, like on the God's promises for my life, God's promise for the business. Like I need to get to the place where I need to stop doubting what God can do and wants to do through me and in me to expand, to grow. And yeah, so that was a book that I recently read that I was really, really challenged with.
Wow, that sounds really good. We'll have to grab the name when
And
you
then another
And
book, but this is my book. I wrote this book. So it's called Architecting Culture.
that's got your name on
It
it.
has
Jens
my name on
Delport.
it. It's on
Oh,
Amazon.
I didn't know
So
you had a book.
I wrote a book about a couple years ago, and again, this was out of obedience. Now, an architect does two things. He creates and designs. Now, this book is very practical. It's about principles to help create and design a kingdom um, atmosphere or to create a kingdom culture in your sphere of influence. And it has stories of me traveling, being a missionary, and I've learned so many things from other cultures. It's like, how to become an architect in your sphere of influence? How do you create and design a kingdom culture? Because every sphere is different, but you are still an architect because that's what God has given each one of us.
yeah, he's a
Cool, cool. We got to pick that up.
creators. Yeah.
Nice, nice. I've got one question before the last question. And so there's a lot of tools out in the marketplace right now, especially around video and AI. Um, what would you say, what like if someone had to do it themselves, right? If they had to do their own video editing, what would be a couple of productivity tools that you would recommend they use if they were going to try and edit some of their videos?
So yeah, so from a if you want to use a professional video editing tool, that's what I use. It's called Adobe Premiere, or you get DaVinci Resolve or Final Cut Pro. These are the three big ones out there, and they really are. Each one is like a king in it, on its own. Um, and then you get other platforms that are more online and one of them is called Descript. Now, Descript has multiple facets of tools that you can use to do that. And with AI rising, and I think the biggest thing that if you're in video production is that people don't understand that AI is not there to steal, from you, but to add to what you're doing.
Right.
I think with AI, there's so many, different ones. I love using one as a video production to really cause my productivity to grow, and it's called Runway ML. Now what that does, it really, you can upload videos and it can remove like the background from your video. It can You can text to image, video to image. It has all these functions that AI have, and it has really just, it helps speed up your editing flow as a video editor. And then there's all these other platforms that can really help with content, like ChatGPT really helps with content ideas. And I think the key is that AI in itself, it doesn't do anything, but it needs us to really lead it into the place that we want it to end up in. So it needs our instructions, it needs our input to really cause it to be beneficial to us. So just having the product will not cause anything for you. It's really adding into it, using it, that can help you be productive in whatever industry you're in.
That's
Oh,
good.
okay. Yeah, man. Hadn't heard of Run. You said Run ML?
Runway.
Did
Runway.
Runway ML.
Yeah.
Haven't heard of that one. Definitely we use ChatGPT is definitely it sources a number, it helps us with our ideas and it helps, I have it edit different things for me just because like you said, it speeds up a process.
Yeah.
So when I hear people saying things like, man, AI is taking over, like, what do you mean? AI has been around for a long time. It's just now we get to use it.
Yes.
So just use it. Just use it and then become more productive. All right, cool beans. I think we have one last question. Shauna, what's our last question?
Has gone by. This was very, very, very insightful and fun. We really thank you. So our last question, we've talked about it a little bit. We've mentioned it. You did a great, plugins of it. But our last question we like to end on is would what does or would beyond freedom look like for you?
Hmm. That's that's a really good question. For me, it's definitely having time with family. It's having the money to do what God has called us to do, not be limited. And again, it's not about, I think the key is it's never about, we're not preaching prosperity. We're saying that God wants us to be abundant so that we can be more effective for Him in whatever way that looks like. If God wants us to build something for someone, buy someone a house. There's all these opportunities that we can have once we recognize that abundance is. So financially, I truly believe God has called my family and us to be abundant for Him. He gets the glory. It's like, it's anyways not my business. It's His business that he just put me in, and He's going to get the glory for it. So that's why I believe abundance in the financial industry sphere in my life. And then health wise, I truly believe that we can walk in health, complete health. There's one preacher, he said, hey, you can turn off sickness by just simply not putting stuff into your body that cause damage. Like, okay, sometimes you don't need to be spiritual, sometimes you just don't need to drink something that is not healthy for you.
Mhm.
So there's definitely just that facet, like, no, we can live beyond freedom in our health. So definitely, time for family, see having that legacy for my family financially, but also relationally. I want, my family and I have my biological brothers in Africa, and I such a close relationship, and I'm like, I want the same for my family, my sons to have a close relationship, me and my children to constantly have a close relationship, because that's legacy. That's something like, it's unheard of. You don't see that constantly, and there's so many families that they don't talk with each other anymore. I'm like, no, it shouldn't be like that. So I can really just, in all those aspects, I can say that's what I see beyond freedom looks like for me.
That's so good.
Wow,
Those are
that is good.
literally the components that we talk about, the health, the time.
Yes.
It's not just financial because, there's that financial freedom term, but
Yeah.
this is beyond
Yes.
freedom because you
Yeah.
can have the financial and still not have freedom.
Yeah.
So that was like so good, almost rehearsed, but it was not. He hit on all the components that we do talk a lot about. So yeah, thanks for that. We are in alignment, Jens.
I love that.
Yes,
I
we are
love
in
that.
alignment.
Yeah.
That is, it's funny, right? Because, we're here on this podcast and we're just asking questions and talking and having a conversation, about something that really we all want. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants the same thing, but the world will tell us something different.
Yeah.
And so, man, we're just excited that today, we had Jens on of Alignment Media. And we can definitely look forward to the next time. The next time there'll be a next time. The next time we
Yes, I
bring
look
Jens
forward to
on,
that.
absolutely, and talk more about how your life is going beyond and your business is going beyond. So thanks again, Jens.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate this.
And we'll include unless you want to share anything now, we'll include all ways that people can get in touch with you unless you want to share anything now.
Yes, let
Yeah.
everybody know. Yeah, how folks can get a hold of you.
So, firstly is just on social media. You can look me up on my personal page, Jens Delport, or my business page, Alignment Media, on Facebook and Instagram. And then if you want to send me an email, alignmentmediallc@gmail.com. And I would love to partner with you, align you with your vision. If you need any video production, event videography, social media, content creation, like reels and shorts, if you run challenges or online events, I really create assets for your events that just elevate the people's experience. So those are all the elements that I can partner with you with.
Yeah. And you have a book. What's the name of the
Yes.
book again?
Architecting Culture.
All right, we're going to include.
Architecting Culture on Amazon.
Awesome.
All right, all right, all right. Thanks again.
Thank
You're
you so
welcome.
much. We look forward to your continued partnership and just, aligning as God has created us to do.
Yes, I fully agree with that.
Awesome. All right, guys. This has been the Beyond Freedom podcast today with Shona Bell, CPA, Mental Health Accountant, and our guest, Jens Delport of Alignment Media. We thank you for being with us, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode very soon. God bless. We'll see you later. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.